Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to ask you. How'd you come up with the name Gravy?
Oh, Gravy? I mean, man, I just like, it's smooth. I really f with food and like MILFs, and I just feel like they're the best at making gravy. That's always just kind of like, it kind of all came together at once, honestly. Yeah.
Dude, as soon as he pulled up on my mom, he just like dropped his pants.
He's the MILF-loving, Pokemon-catching, milky madman taking over the rap game under your very nose. And Yung Gravy has it all. 1.15 million subscribers on YouTube, a platinum plaque for Mr. Clean, a gold one for One Thought, Two Thought, Red Thought, Blue Thought. He's got rabid fans making endless memes about his endless love for MILFs.
What don't you understand about finessing?
But more importantly, Yung Gravy has 5 million monthly listeners on Spotify, and I don't think they're going nowhere. So maybe you're not listening to Yung Gravy, but the world sure is. So let's take a look at the miraculous come up of this modern day master of the MILFs. Hailing from Minnesota, Yung Gravy brought cold bars and piping hot drip to the rap game from the very start. And he came up with his name early. Funnily enough, during a late night freestyling session with some of his buddies from camp, coming up with the Yung Gravy persona off the top of his head, and it stuck.
Pulling through smooth, you could call me Yung Gravy. And then like right when I said it, everyone just like stopped. Like, all right,
Your
bro.
name is now Yung Gravy.
You snap, you snap.
Okay, I know that doesn't sound very profound, but Yung Gravy recounted coming up with his name in a much more mythical tone during his Between the Speakers interview with rap game legend Simon Rex, aka Dirt Nasty.
I remember where I was. There was a fire burning. There was, you know, it was a cold night. Smelled of alpine, and something about it in that moment. We all were just like, damn, like I don't know what just occurred, but it kind of felt like that was just because I was going by a little steamer before that.
Sorry, I had to use that. But before he was riding high in the rap game, Yung Gravy was boarding a different kind of gravy train. After graduating in marketing from the University of Wisconsin, it seems that Gravy was actually on the path to making his bank in the business world, saying that if he wasn't rapping, he'd probably be running a startup in Chicago. And it makes sense. I mean, I'm pretty sure Chirac is really becoming a real startup hub. In fact, I hear Lil Durk is even about to launch his own app called OpsDash. It's kind of like DoorDash, but instead of sending food, you send a 17-year-old hitter with more bodies on him than Selena Powell. Really though, apparently before he became a household name in the rap game, Yung Gravy had caught the startup bug whilst working at the online startup hub Generator. And for the record, that's Generator with an 8 in it. You know that it's a cool company when there's a number in the name. And well, apparently Yung Gravy was such a young Mark Zuckerberg. In the making, they had even offered him the opportunity to head up the Minneapolis office.
They offered me to be like the head of the Minneapolis office they were opening, and then that would have been cool, but then I said no, did rap music.
Damn, Gravy, it sounds like we got a lot in common. But fortunately, just like me, Yung Gravy escaped the startup bubble just in time to slide his way into the rap game. And this came after being inspired by the likes of Famous Dex and Lil Yachty, who had recently blown up on SoundCloud around this time with their catchy music, unique personalities, and ignorant personas. So seeing how much could be achieved in the SoundCloud rap game, Yung Gravy decided to throw his granules into the mix and have a crack at it himself. In fact, one of the very first songs that he ever dropped was the very well-named track Karen.
Gravy stole your bitch. Boy, that's a disgrace. Playing tennis with your girl, and that ass just got 8 sports.
Real talk, Yung Gravy was calling your mum a Karen 4 years before it was cool. This man is so ahead of the game. And this started a tradition of Yung Gravy naming his rap songs after generic mom names. But aside from Karen hating early, Yung Gravy had something special and unique straight out of the gate. His tracks were nothing like what other SoundCloud rappers were doing at the time. Rather than the usual beats that people were rapping over, Gravy mixed the booming 808s of modern hip hop with heavy use of vintage sampling from golden oldies, creating a perfect blend of contemporary rhythms and nostalgic melodies, which he would then pour his deep booming voice over like gravy on a literal Thanksgiving turkey, baby. He says that he was influenced by classic soul music of the 50s and 60s, and elaborating even further in an unverified Reddit Ask Me Anything, that he basically just believes that anything from the 1950s to the 1980s was just way cooler shit than what there is now. Hence his signature sample-heavy beats and his doo-wop audio drop. Baby, whoa, something like that.
I know like all this fucking old school music that people like will probably fuck with that they don't realize is fire.
Gravy even says on the track Pizzazz, he don't make rap, he makes smooth jazz. But as if that wasn't enough of an original sound, Yung Gravy also brought to the table a genuinely good flow and an uncanny ability to come up with insanely original bars, usually referencing how he's gonna smash your mom. And from here, I'm fairly certain he has become the first rapper in the game to have a signature fascination with MILFs.
MILFs, and I just feel like they're the best at at making gravy. That's always just kind of like.
So that means Yung Gravy's ops need to hide their baby mums. Real talk, Yung Gravy has brought something to the rap game that has never been done before. And after launching his first tracks on SoundCloud, he knew that he had cooked up something special. So seeing the positive response to his music, he didn't let up and he continued to drop bangers, including the now iconic track, Mr. Clean. This came along with an EP of the same name and an amazing aesthetic, combining his retro referencing sound with dope retro artwork, which created a consistent style that he has maintained to this day, creating highly clickable projects that always lived up to their expectations. But speaking of expectations, it's hard to appreciate this properly now because we know what Yung Gravy looks like. But for quite some time, mainly due to fear of losing his job, Gravy kept his rapping alter ego a complete secret, never appearing on camera or in videos and refusing to tell fans what he looked like. But in spite of this, perhaps even in part of the fact that he remained a mysterious enigma, all the mystique just made Gravy fans want another mouthful. So he continued dropping music like the December 2016 Thanksgiving Eve mixtape, which featured the bubbling hit Splash Mountain. Splash. And of course, we can't forget to mention that after this, he teamed up with longtime collaborator, TikTok musical icon and rapper with a name that we can all relate to, Baby No Money, releasing their early joint banger Baby Gravy. But it would actually be that earlier hit Mr. Clean that would eventually get a music video and blow Yung Gravy into the stratosphere. Now, early footage does exist appearing to depict Yung Gravy rapping Mr. Clean alongside an unnamed MILF or GILF even, seemingly shooting an early version of the Mr. Clean video.
Am I supposed to move or?
Now, for whatever reason, this version of the video never surfaced. But eventually, over a year after that song was originally released, in October 2017, Yung Gravy finally dropped a high-quality music video for the track Mr. Clean, and that shit went massively viral. To me, it was no surprise that it popped off so hard, because the track, in my opinion, isn't his best. But the beat sample of Mr. Sandman is immediately memorable, and then combine that with bars that you couldn't imagine any other rapper spitting. Lines about his haters being inbred skinheads, or smashing MILFs named Charlene. Combine that with his pasty white face and trailer trash chin strap beard, which up until this point had never even been seen by his rabid underground fan base. In fact, following the release of the Mr. Clean music video, it emerged in the comments that most of his fans had assumed that he was black because of his booming deep voice.
80% of the comments were like, holy shit, I thought he was black. I didn't know he was white. So it was like, just because of my low voice and all that, it was some weird comments like, oh, now that I figured out that he's white, like,
I'm out.
It's just like, why would you say, like, what?
But despite these comments, people weren't out. They were very much in. So the Mr. Clean music video was the biggest W in Yung Gravy's career to date. And in many ways, this is made even more impressive when you hear the story about how this higher quality version of the Mr. Clean music video came to be. Because apparently Yung Gravy had actually met the videographers that made this video at a college party, and they all drunkenly decided to spend the rest of the weekend producing that music video together. The next day, when Gravy woke up with a raging hangover, he had an epiphany that he'd need a white horse, a jet ski, and a car wash, and between them, they miraculously found all of these things that same day. The music video for Mr. Clean only cost $67 to make, and it ended up making his career. And in response, it seems like Yung Gravy has remained loyal to that videographer Charlie Hartwell that made it happen non-stop since. So this viral moment put Yung Gravy on the map. But many of the people who were exposed to this viral music video weren't convinced of Yung Gravy's longevity. And that includes me. I remember hearing the song and the video back when it was released, and I'll be honest with you, I thought it was straight trash.
It was trash.
I thought it was another fake bullshit parody rapper going absolutely nowhere, a la Lil Windex. In fact, after seeing both Yung Gravy's Mr. Clean and Lil Windex's Cleaning Up, I was genuinely convinced that companies making cleaning products were doing guerrilla marketing by hiring rappers to create trap bangers to promote their products. And of course, who could forget the viral hit Febreze that we had in the UK from drill rapper Lil Shit.
It's young Febreze, I pull up with the shit, send spray, then leave. Bro, take you on the beat, and you know I keep my butthole clean. It's young Febreze, I pull up with the shit, send spray, then leave. Pull up on your block, do a skit, then spray. Too much beef, I'ma leave you stained.
After Mr. Clean went viral, Yung Gravy hit the road trying to soak up the bag like a piece of bread trying to soak up the last bit of gravy in a Thanksgiving dinner. Gravy puns are hard, I'm running low. Anyway, he embarked on the Gravy Train tour and begun whipping from city to city. But what's a Yung Gravy tour like, I hear nobody asking? Well, it ain't like other tours, that's for sure. In fact, ever since he first touched stage, Yung Gravy has become a master of wilding out in person, promising fans an unforgettable experience in every single city he gets poured in.
My goal at every show is to do something that like someone's never seen before. I used to bring cereal and milk to every show until the venue started hating it for cleaning up fucking milk, but it was like, People love the unique, weird shit. I used to feed people fucking celery and ranch, man. A lot of times we bring a fucking George Foreman on stage and make fucking hot dogs and pass them out. Every show we get a rotisserie chicken and throw that.
Goddamn, Yung Gravy is really out here feeding his fans actual gravy. I can't help but salute that.
In Boston, a quarterback fucking like spiraled a fucking whole rotisserie chicken.
Yes, apparently Yung Gravy Tom Brady'd an entire rotisserie chicken at the crowd in Boston. Something I unfortunately couldn't find a clip of, but I'd like to think that it was this poultry passing energy that inspired the song Rotisserie with BB No Money. But unfortunately for Gravy, that big chicken energy hasn't always kept him out of trouble. Yung Gravy fanatics might remember the start of his Dr. Seuss inspired banger, One Thought, Two Thought, Red Thought, Blue Thought, that he's fresh off probation.
I'm so hyped. I'm like, yo, I was on Gravy on probation, now I'm off probation. And then I was like, I just been talking to an Asian girl, man, I'm fucking with some Asians, and it just kind of like, that's how that whole song started. I mean, it was the shortest time I've ever spent on a song, but it ended up being my biggest song.
Yes, you heard it right. Apparently 12 stitched up Yung Gravy good and proper and put him on probation, forcing him to provide regular gravy samples. Apparently all of this stemmed from an incident after a house party that got broken up by some corrupt cops in Georgia, who had apparently falsely been told that this house party gone wrong was a burglary.
This dude's mom, whose house we were at, called the cops and was like, yo, there's burglars in my house, because she didn't fuck with their son. The whole police force of like, the whole county pulled up, because it's like, they don't see anything. Thought we were robbers. They start like chasing us down with tasers and like trying to like tackle us all.
And the cops ended up pouring a whole bunch of charges on Yung Gravy, ranging from burglary, criminal trespassing, underage drinking and drug charges. Fortunately, Gravy Baby managed to finesse his way out of jail time, instead getting 240 hours of community service, narrowly avoiding an 18-month jail sentence. And even more fortunately, he was able to move to Montana and quickly perform a big chunk of these community service hours at his buddy's thrift store.
It was my homie's, that's why I went to Montana, because it was my homie's thrift shop.
Yeah, basically for 10 hours a day, you got high at the thrift shop.
I mean,
and this was apparently in addition to also clocking up hours working for a suicide prevention charity.
I wake up at 7, go to the thrift shop for like 8 hours, and then I come home and I'd run social media for this like suicide prevention company.
Because of course, who would want to take their own life when you got Yung Gravy on the other side of the phone? In fact, I think I actually have some exclusive footage of Yung Gravy working this job. Funnily enough, it was actually the day that Yung Gravy got off probation that he shot that iconic Mr. Clean video. And it was the probation-inspired banger One Thought, Two Thought, Red Thought, Blue Thought that caught Gravy the attention of the major labels. So after spending months being flown in and out of big cities to meet with the big labels, apparently Gravy was eventually enticed by an impeccably soft bathrobe that came courtesy of Republic Records, deciding to sign a deal with them in November of 2017, Thanksgiving to be precise, because what better time to secure that gravy, baby?
I think Mr. Clean got put into like some big meme that was like blowing up. The video got like 1 million views in like a couple hours. I started meeting with labels like a month or two after that, and signed in like November.
And ever since Yung Gravy got down with Republic, his work rate has been through the roof. Republic re-released some of his earlier music, clearing up the sample problems, in the form of his deviously titled Snow Cougar EP in May 2014, a project which featured Drum on the unforgettable banger Suavecito. And from there, it was very clear that the label's input was the right call for Gravy, because as well as importantly being able to help him ensure that his heavily sampled musical style was above board and not subject to constant copyright BS, like I am, it seemed that they were also able to put money on the table to help Gravy get access to the biggest names in the game. For example, in his music video for the smooth MILF-loving ballad Pizzazz, it seems he was able to acquire the video vixen services of famous super MILF Brandy Love, who apparently Gravy got on so well with on the set he decided to propose. And aside from the MILFs, Gravy was getting access to more and more of the biggest names in the rap game. For example, after he was set up in a studio session with the boys over at QC, Quality Control, he ended up getting some FaceTime with one of his idols, Lil Yachty, and Lil Baby, who apparently liked his style so much he instantly jumped on the track Alley Oop, which also got a great music video in February 2019. This track ended up on his debut album with Republic, Sensational, which dropped at the end of May 2019, landing comfortably on the Billboard album charts at 52. But ever since then, Yung Gravy has gone from strength to strength, dropping some of the most downright strange, wavy, and innovative music and music videos the rap game has ever seen, including my current in-car jam with her Tesla with Baby No Money. In fact, story goes, Yung Gravy even asked Elon Musk personally for 12 Teslas for the music video, but the request was denied, likely due to Elon Musk still being mad at Gravy for stealing his baby mama. This is probably why, ironically, all the Tesla logos in the music video for Whip a Tesla are blurred. No, nothing, just Whip a electric vehicle. Whip an EV? That track was followed up by the impeccable country trap ballad Tampa Bay Bustdown featuring Y2K and none other than Chief Keef. And Chief Keef even turned up to be in the music video, an appearance that was so well regarded by fans they claimed it had immediately ended racism. I mean, this has got to be the best example of country trap I have ever heard. If This song is a Tesla. Lil Nas X's Old Town Road is a 1969 Dodge Dart. Sorry Lil Nas X, but you will never be the artist Yung Gravy is, and that's facts. But the story behind Tampa Bay Bust Down doesn't even end there, because apparently Republic gave Yung Gravy $6,000 to promote the song, and he did what I think a lot of us young, lonely, single men would do, spent it all on Pornhub.
I actually bought a bunch of Pornhub ads one time, and it was probably one of the best moves I've made. My label gave me $6,000 to spend on ads,
Flex, baby.
and I put it all into Pornhub. Pornhub hit me up, like porn stars hit me up, and they're all like, bro, you're a savage.
I'm sorry, but that is a stupid marketing strategy. Nobody's going to Pornhub to listen to Yung Gravy. They're going to MILFTube. Anyway, apparently this was a top-notch strategy, and that song ended up picking up steam off the back of Pornhub money. Since then, Yung Gravy has dropped countless bangers in my book, like Magic and Forget Me Thoughts. And he's got hit after hit with Baby No Money. Tracks like, I don't know, Shining on My Ex. And of course, Welcome to Chili's, inspired by the American restaurant's iconic tagline.
Hi, welcome to Chili's.
Gravy and Baby No Money dropped their project Baby Gravy 2 on Valentine's Day 2020, which slid in at 188 on the Billboard charts, and featuring the track Bandsville, which is just, I can't stop listening to it. It's fire. Anyway, look, I'm sure you're wondering at this point, Traplaw Ross, why are you slurping off Yung Gravy so damn hard? At this rate, you might as well be one of his video MILFs. Well, you know what? Ever since I got into Yung Gravy, he's actually become one of my favourite artists. Not necessarily just because of his lyricism, MILF fascination, or weird kooky style, but because he's one of those rappers that's come along and beat the odds in spite of everything working against him. When I first saw that Mr. Clean viral video a few years ago, I thought it was trash. I wrote him off. I thought there is no reason this guy should succeed. He doesn't look like a rapper, he doesn't sound like a rapper, and for once a rapper doesn't want to fuck my girl, he wants to fuck my mom. But you know what? Unlike many others, Yung Gravy isn't faking it for clout. He's not pretending to be someone else or making music that isn't true to him just trying to fit in. Since Mr. Clean, he's been bold enough to stand out and unapologetically be himself. And by God, it worked. Now he's a credible rapper, platinum plaque on the wall, sold out tours, cribs in different cities, all off the back of being himself, being unique, and leaning into the aspects that make him who he is. He's not trying to cover them up or just fit in with what the rap game says that you should be to succeed. So I want this video to be a lesson to any budding rappers out there, artists, or just anyone trying to find their way in this world that doesn't have it all worked out. You shouldn't be running around trying to fit in or being Lil Baby or whatever the template of a hot rapper is in your city, your country, or your industry. If you're making art and putting your personality out there, you've got to try and become the most honest, true, and fun version of yourself. And if you put that across honestly, it will resonate with people. Put what's unique about you on display. Live your truth. I think when you achieve that, that's when the magic really happens. And the fact that I'm even sitting in this position, telling you this now, is proof that it worked for me. So don't try and be someone else. Believe in yourself, be yourself, and then maybe one day, you might grow up to be like Yung Gravy.